About a quarter of the population in Sydney lives in a strata titled dwelling, so this kind of ownership, which is pretty huge. But there's also a lot of people who own them, who don't live in them. So about half of all strata title properties are actually investor owned. And then on top of that, you've got all the people who work in the sector, and there's a lot of them. Strata managers, lawyers, accountants, building managers, specialists in construction remediation for defective buildings and that kind of thing. So really it's something that would touch most people who live in Sydney in some way or another. Yeah, I guess what my aim is to bring a human face to all of the arguments around urban consolidation. So lots of governments, not only in Australia but also internationally, are trying to house really rapidly growing urban populations in high density housing, which generally means apartments. But it's often talked about in terms of how this is necessary in terms of housing increasing numbers of people, how it's important for the economy, how we need to do it to make the best and most efficient use of services. All of that stuff's important, but what we've got to remember is it's not just a numbers game, it's also where people live. So a lot of my research is about how all of that translates into everyday living and practice, and how that can be done in a way that's beneficial and positive for people who live in apartments. My vision for the future is that apartment living and strata title is not the second choice that you buy into because you can't afford a house. My vision is that it's equal, or better, that it's what people want to live in, that people want to be able to live in buildings that are managed well, that are built well, and in which they can have good relationships with their neighbours.